Hey everybody, welcome back to my layout. So this will be a layout update for April 2015. Quite a bit of new stuff came in over the last month, so we're going to have a look at that, as well as I've made some really good progress on my Fremo module sand source. So let's get right into it and take a look at some of these new cars that came in. So these are the second run North American Railcar Corporation 4550 grain hoppers. And these are in the Alberta paint scheme, and these are absolutely beautiful hoppers. So they're well worth the wait in my opinion. These are very nice cars, and these cylindrical grain hoppers are some of my favorites. So these are the Saskatchewan Grain Car Corporation paint scheme. So I got 5 in the CP road number, which is this one, the SKPX, and I got 5 in the CN road number, which is SKNX. The difference in the paint schemes is whether or not they have the more modern paint scheme is this one here, which doesn't have the exclamation mark after the word Saskatchewan. So these are really nice cars, and very, very happy with them, and waiting for them for over 2 years, so it's nice to finally get them. And the last cars I got in were a few of these Intermountain 4550 cylindrical hoppers. So this is Intermountain's version of it, which is the National Steel car. They are really nice cars as well, but not quite as nice as the North American Railcar Corporation cars. These are in the CP road number there, you can see CPWX. So we'll just do a quick little test here, I want to show you something. This is the difference between the North American Railcar trucks and the Intermountain trucks. Those 5 Intermountain hoppers I got, they pull like really heavy. They don't like roll very well. And keep in mind, this is a 2% grade here. So I gotta be ready to catch this North American car, because these things really roll easily. So we'll give them both a push. So you see, that one got going so fast it derailed on the curve. And the Intermountain, it's just sitting there on 2% grade, not moving. So these need to be, probably need to ream out the trucks or something on them. And then maybe you could get them to roll good. So one other thing I'll point out too, a lot of people have trouble with these North American Railcar Corporation cars because the wheel treads are so, they got these really semi-scale, kind of almost half prototypical wheel tread depth, whereas the Intermountains have the old classic NMRA jumbo tires on them, which is helpful when you're going through switches, but they don't look very good. So North American rail cars, they'll run fine as long as you use like micro engineering turnouts will work, Pico, or I think Walther's Sinohara. That's what I have, and they run on my layout. I have to tweak a few of them just to make sure the wheel gauge is correct, and then they'll run fine on my layout, which is, my layout's one of the hardest layouts probably to get things to run on, because it's got 2% grades and 24 inch radius curves. So just a heads up for anybody that you're going to purchase these cars, you got to make sure you got a good track to run them on, because for example, like I can't take these cars to Fremo because they use Atlas turnouts, which have the wide gauge frogs and stuff, so these don't run very good at Fremo. But if you have micro engineering, Pico or Walther's track, you probably won't have problems. You might just have to tweak them a little bit. There's a good shot. You can really see the difference in the look of the wheels and the wheel treads. So the Intermountains are a lot more forgiving for out of gauge track or turnouts or whatever. These are not so much. So that whack of grain cars was the only thing I got in new over last month for rolling stock. So I'll show you some progress now on the Fremo module. I'm getting really close to the final stages of it. So we'll have a look at what I've been doing, working with LEDs and final painting and stuff. So let's have a look. So this is where I'm at with my module right now. I'm working on getting a working strobe light, as you can see on the top of the tallest point of the elevator there. So it's just a 603 sunny white SMD like I use for locomotive ditch lights, except this one I painted red with acrylic paint, and that gave it that nice red color. It actually looks more of a dark red in person. It looks kind of pink on the camera. So I've just got it temporarily mocked up to test it out and see how it looked. So it's just plugged into my 12 volt DC power supply on the left there. So that 12 volt DC is plugged into the Circuitron. It's called Basic Flasher. And then from there, you don't even need a resistor. It's actually a great little circuit board, and it just goes right to the SMD. There's a better view of it. So I'm going to, obviously it's not going to have Funtac holding it in place, but I'll use a piece of brass or something probably. And I'll show you in a picture what the actual thing looks like right here. And as you can see, there's also a windsock up there too, so I'm going to put that up there as well. So that'll be a really cool little animation for this thing, and it's completely prototypical too. So here you can see, that's the one I used, Circuitron BF1 Basic Flasher. Comes in a little package like this. I also got a BF3 just to experiment with it. This is an adjustable one. It's really cool, those two screws there. You can adjust the time on and the time off, so you can get a really wide variety of flashes. So the next step with the strobe light will be to mount the circuit board inside this bin. So I've hollowed out some of the core. That's where the BF1 flasher circuit board is going to go. And then I've got really long leads, you can see, of magnet wire going all the way up. So I'm going to have to try to find a way to hide that, tuck it in behind, and then hoping I can try hiding the leads behind this ladder here down to the to where it goes to the bin. So in addition to getting the flasher working, you can see I finished, I made 2 more PVC bins here to fill it out, and I finished the this large kind of short stubby bin. So a little while later, and you can see where I'm at now. You can see I've got the airbrush booth out and super congested work area. Strobe for the top of the elevator is installed on a piece of brass, and as well as another piece of brass for a windsock. I still got to figure out what I'm going to use for a windsock. I haven't figured that out yet, but I put the stick there that will hold it up. The elevator has been attached. It's in its permanent position, so I use silicone. I like silicone for putting these things together. It works really well. So that's what it looks like with the bins kind of mocked up. Look, kind of gives you an idea what it'll look like when it's finished. So the top of the odd bin there, I built that with just sheet styrene. Same with the man door on the back there. That's just a piece of styrene, and same with the door handle. The handrails on the top are made from Details Associate 0.015 brass wire, I think. I just used my grab iron bender to make those. Airbrush the whole thing white, and it looks pretty good. And the handrails on the top of this bin are made from brass Walther's conveyor kit that I chopped up, and then I soldered these together to make this square kind of access railing handrail type thing. And just having some fun with it. Added an extra little access like manway there. That's just a piece of styrene. This is something I've been just kind of experimenting around with lately, guys. Using Corel Draw to make signs. And these signs are exact scale of the signs on the prototype. And what I do is I take a photo of it as dead on as possible, like to the sign, like you want to be 90 degrees to it, and at the same level kind of, so you get everything in proportion. Take a photo of it, and then I take it on a Corel Draw, and I basically use Corel to do artwork over top of it. That way you get the sizing and all the proportions correct on the sign. And once you've done that, you can scale it up or down. So I could make these signs in HO or G scale or whatever you want. Smaller if you wanted. That's the cool thing about it. So these signs are based on actual photos I've taken off the prototype and made them on CorelDRAW and then just printed them out. So they're just paper. And they actually turned out like really cool. I really like that. It's kind of a really neat prototypical little detail that you can add. It's some real signage. And then you get to keep the digital copy forever. So if you ever want to make more of these, you can. It's just a matter of printing them. So that's a dead slow on scale sign for the truckers for when they're driving under here to get loaded with sand or acid. And this one over here says, notice, make sure safety railings are down before proceeding onto the scale. And below it there is, it's so small I couldn't actually make artwork for it. It's just a photo of a danger sign. I'll give you some sense of the scale of how big these signs are. That's a dime. So I was really impressed with the fine level of detail that the printer was able to print out, because those signs look great. Like you can read this white one easily, and you can almost read this one. You can read it if you get up close to it. It's kind of hard to read from standing back, but a really neat thing that I'm looking forward to experiment more with is just using CorelDRAW to make signage and stuff for model railroading. So that'll catch us up to the end of April, guys. So I'm just going to keep plugging away at this building structure here for SandSource. Finish the signage, and hopefully maybe next month or the one after I'll have it complete. So that's what I'm going to be working on over the next couple months. As always, thanks a lot for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.